This is Gemara Nazir Daf Lamid Gimel, and it's an exciting day in the world of Daf Yomi, as today we have one of the most unique dafs in all of Shas. Luckily for the Daf Yomi family, it's an easy daf, as Lamid Gimel Lamid Beis has no Gemara. Not many times throughout Shas does such a thing exist. I think there might be one other place in Baba Kama, but either way, let's pick it up on the bottom of Lamed Beis and Mid Beis, and we begin today with the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Hayu Mahalchim B'derech, and this should hopefully sound very familiar as we had this in 2 days ago's daf. Someone is walking on the road, Ve'echad ba kenegdai, and someone is walking opposite him. And as we remember back from 2 days ago, the case is there are 6 people walking on the road. And as it was 6 people, we're going to call them number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Someone from the distance is walking towards them. So what? Va'amar echad me'em. So number 1 says, Hareini Nazir, I am a Nazir. Shezeh Pliny. That the guy coming is Pliny. Ve'echad Aimer, and the second guy says, Hareini Nazir, Shein Zeh Pliny. The third guy says, Hareini Nazir, She'echad mikem Nazir, that one of you are Nazir. The fourth guy says, I'm a Nazir, Sheinechem Mikem Nazir. The fifth guy says, Sheinechem Nazirim, that they're both Nazirim. And the sixth guy says, Sheikolchem Nazirim. So 6 people make a Naziros at some level conditional on the status of the person coming towards them. So the opinion of Beishamai, we have already seen, says the Mishnah, Beishamai Oimrim Kulam Nazirim. Says Beishamai, they all have a din of a Nazir, as we've explained. The reason is because they didn't really mean to base their Naziros on the condition. They thought that that's what it was, so they based their Naziros on that. But really, they're all wanted to be a Nazir, and therefore they are all such. Beis Hillel Oimrim, says Beis Hillel, Einoi Nazir. They are not a Nazir, Ella, aside for. So the only one that's a Nazir, according to Beis Hillel, is Mi Shelai Niskai Mudvarov, the one that his words are not fulfilled. And everyone is wondering, the one that his words are not fulfilled? I could understand if you would say that the only one is a Nazir is the one the words that are fulfilled. What does it mean that they're a Nazir, the one the words that are not fulfilled? That is a very good question, and the Gemara is going to tackle that in a moment. Reb Tarfin Oimer, opinion number 3. Ein echad mehem Nazir. None of them are a Nazir. And again, as we're going to see, we've already seen Shitas Reb Tarfin as in passing. But we're going to see Reb Tarfin holds there's no such thing as conditional Naziris. Anytime one tries to create a Naziris based upon something else, there is no such thing. And therefore, since in our Mishnah, their words were that the Naziris is based on something, says Rav Tarfin, none of them are a Nazir. Hartia la chayrav. So again, we have the opinion of Beisham and Beisol Rav Tarfin. Now says the Mishnah, Hartia la chayrav. Excuse me. If the person coming towards them turned around, so everyone has their Naziris at some level pinned on who that guy is. And guess what? He does an about face. He turns around and we're sitting here wondering, we have no clue at the end of the day who he was. So what happens now? Says the Mishnah, a Nazir, he is not a Nazir. Now, who is not a Nazir? And what opinion is this? So we'll see tomorrow that this means that no one is a Nazir, but it's a new Shita. We're going to see it's Rav Yehuda. That's the 4th Shita in the Mishnah. So again, Beis Shammai, they're all Nazirim. Beis Hillel, we're not sure what he means. Rav Tarfin, none are Nazirim. And when he turns around, we have an opinion that says no one's a Nazir, which we're going to see is Rav Yehuda. Rav Shimon Aimer says, Rav Shimon, Amar, you know what he should say. Im haya kidvarai harini Nazir chayva. This brings us back to Rav Shimon, all the way back at the beginning of the Masechta. That Rav Shimon is chayshesh for Naziris in these cases of Sfeikis. So says Rav Shimon, you know what he should say? That if what I said happened, then I'm obligated and I'm accepting upon myself a Nazir chayva. Vim lav harini Nazir nidava. And if not, then I'm accepting upon myself an optional Naziris. So, opinion Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, Rav Tarfin, unnamed opinion, and Rabbi Shimon. So says the Gemara, let's dive into opinion number 2. What did Beis Hillel mean that the only one that is a Nazir is the one that was not Niskayim his words? Says the Gemara on the bottom of Lamed Beis Beis, Mishalei Niskayim Devarav, the one that his words were not fulfilled. Amayav a Nazir. Why is he the one that's a Nazir? So in classical Gemara sense, Amar Rav Yehuda Ema, switch the words. The words Tamid Vishaniskayim Devarav. That's the one that Beis Hillel says is a Nazir. Teretz number 1. Teretz number 2, as we turn over to Lamed Gimel Amid Aleph, we have a short Amid Aleph and a non-existent Amid Beis. Teretz number 2, says the Gemara, no, we can't switch around that Beis Hillel meant that the one that it fulfills his words is a Nazir. Rather, Abaye Amar Lamed Gimel Amid Aleph Kigoyin de Amar. Abaye changes the case. He rather changed the case in the Mishnah than to say that the words in Beis Hillel were backwards. Says Abaye Kigoyin de Amar, the case in the Mishnah is as such that the person adds on and he says, Inami lav ploinihu ihave Nazir. And if it's not him, then I will, yes, be a Nazir. So again, so what is he saying? He starts off saying, like he said in the Mishnah, that I'm a Nazir, that the guy coming is so-and-so. He's Yaakov. And then what happened? Then he changes his mind. Then he says, you know what? I want to be a Nazir that the person is not Yaakov. A lav Pliny, then I'm going to be a Nazir. So first he says, I'm a Nazir if it is Yaakov. And then he changed his mind and he says, I'm a Nazir if it's not Yaakov. So on that, says Beis Hillel again, so we're changing the case in the Mishnah. It's not simply that he said, I'm accepting a Nazir if that guy is Ruvain, that guy is Yaakov, that guy is Pliny. That's what he first said. Then he changed his mind to say that I'm a Nazir if it's not him. And what did Beis Hillel mean to say that he's a Nazir if his words are not Mikuyam? We don't listen to his original words. We say you switched your mind. You switched to say that if it's not that guy. So says Beis Hillel, if indeed it's not that guy, you are yes a Nazir. Why? Because your original statement was not Mikuyam. Your original statement was, if it is Ruvain, I'm a Nazir, and it's not Ruvain. So your original statement was not Mikuyam. You're yes a Nazir. Why are you yes a Nazir if your statement was not fulfilled? Because you had a change of mind. And you said, if it happens to not be him, I'll be a Nazir. 2 ways of explaining Shitas Beis Hillel in the Mishnah. And we continue with the next case in the Mishnah that said, Ertil Achairav Eino Nazir. We had an unnamed opinion in the Mishnah that if the guy turned around and we don't know if it's him, said the Mishnah, he is not a Nazir. Says the Gemara, the bottom of Lamed Gimel Lamed Aleph, it seems because this opinion in the Mishnah seemingly indicates, why is he not a Nazir? Because he turned around ha'asli likaman. But that obvious, the implication is, let's say he did indeed walk in front of us, have a Nazir. Then he would, yes, be a Nazir. So Mani, what opinion is this opinion in the Mishnah? Again, let's remind ourselves. We had Beis Shammai, we had Beis Hillel, we have Rav Tarfin, and then we end up with Rav Shimon. So in the middle we have this opinion that says if he turns around, I'm not a Nazir, indicating if he doesn't turn around, I am a Nazir. Who is this opinion? And as we see, it really ends today's daf, because as we turn over the page over here, you see a fascinating Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis. Again, a famous Amid in Shas, an Amid replete with only Taisvis. Unfortunately, we do not do Taisvis generally together, and thereby we go straight to Lamed Daled Amid Aleph, and we'll just continue trying to figure out who is this opinion, this third opinion, when it says Ertila Chayrov. If the guy turns around, he is not a Nazir, indicating if he does not turn around, he is a Nazir. Who is that opinion? So it says the Gemara as follows. Ilema, if you're going to suggest that who is his opinion in the Mishnah? Rev Tarfin. If you're going to suggest that this is Rev Tarfin, mi have a Nazir. Would Rev Tarfin hold that he's a Nazir if he ends up walking towards us and it is the guy that I said? But Rev Tarfin holds, and this really will clarify the Shita of Rev Tarfin, as we saw in the Mishnah, in which he said none of them are Nazirim. What does Rev Tarfin hold? Kiven Shaita de Nazar lo yada, says at the moment he made his Nazirus, he did not know. Why did he not know? Because when he said, if it's that guy, he made a conditional Nazirus. And as we spoke out when we read the Mishnah, Rav Tarfin doesn't hold of conditional Nazirus. So since at the moment he made the Nazirus, lo yada, yiploi nihu iloi, Michal of Nazirus, would Rav Tarfin actually hold this Nazirus? So this opinion in the Mishnah that says when he turns around, he's not a Nazir, implying if he didn't turn around, he is a Nazir, can't be Rav Tarfin, because Rav Tarfin holds a conditional Nazirus and not a Nazirus. Tanya, as we learned in a Brisa, 3 lines down, Rav Yudah, I remember Shem Rav Tarfin, Ein Echad Me'an Nazir. Why? Naziris Ella Lahafla. That Naziris is only applicable Lahafla when it's clear cut what the statement was. So can't be Rav Tarfin. So says the Gemara, you know who our Mishnah is, El Rav Yehuda Dekriu. This is Rav Yehuda of the pile who argued on Rav Tarfin. Titanya, as we learned in our Brisa, hopefully it's a little bit familiar back from Daf Ches. Hareini Nazir Amanashe Bekriya Zemei Akor. Someone says I'm a Nazir in condition that this pile has 100 kor. And he finds that the pile was stolen or lost. Rav Shimon Oiser, Rav Yehuda Matir. Rav Shimon says that he is a Nazirus due to the suffix. And Rav Yehuda Matir that says no, he is not a Nazirus. So, but that's only because of the suffix. But if it's not a suffix, even though it's conditional, Rav Yehuda will say you are yes a Nazir. So this case of the Mishnah, that if the guy did not turn around and we did ascertain who it would be Rabbi Yehuda. So if we were to go back into the Mishnah, we have Beis Shammai, we have Beis Hillel, we have Rav Tarfin, now we have Rav Yehuda, as we mentioned when we read the Mishnah, and finally who do we have? And we conclude today, Rav Shimon Savar, Kivin di'ilu loy nignav, says Rav Shimon that if it was not stolen, del mahave me'akor, why are you not a Nazir? Maybe there was 100 kor, v'have Nazir, hashtenami have Nazir. So since if there was 100 kor, you'd be a Nazir, so too now you should be a Nazir due to the suffix, v'chanami. And so too in our Mishnah says Rav Shimon, Kivin das leikaman v'yadin deploni avay have Nazir. Hashtenami ave Nazir. This is why Rav Shimon in the Mishnah said that you should accept upon yourself a Nazirus misafek, and you should say that if it was indeed that guy, then I have a Nazirus chayva, and if not, a Nazir nedava. Because Rav Shimon is always chayshish for the Nazirus misafek, as we see in this Brisa. We'll pick it up from the next Mishnah on the next year, B'siyata Dishmaya.